Hey everybody, it's your boy, and sorry that this is a little bit of a low effort video, but that's because I don't have much time, and the other video I was editing, I can't salvage, it's not very good, and I'm not gonna give you guys terrible content now, am I? So instead I'm going to do a video on a breaking topic, Joe Rogan, and how he has been in trouble for making gamer words and other things that are the real reasons as to why he's being attacked in the media, being attacked by people online, and generally has become even more of a pariah to the mainstream than he was before. And, let's be honest, why some of the decisions he's made over the past couple of years have come back to haunt him. So anyway, what has happened? What is the reasons behind his latest cancellation attempt? Well, it goes back a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago, when he had the inventor of the mRNA vaccine, Robert Malone, to talk about the use of mRNA vaccines and the COVID vaccines. And of course, Robert Malone had things that went against the mainstream narrative. In fact, even though the man himself is vaccinated, he's, I think, double vaxxed, maybe even triple vaxxed, I can't recall. He was just saying, look, you guys should make your own decisions. It shouldn't be left to the state to decide what you should do with your own body. It shouldn't be mandated. And obviously they said other things that angered the mainstream media and a lot of the COVIDiots that have been trying to use this opportunity to increase state power over all of us. The backlash resulted in Robert Malone being kicked off of Twitter and Joe Rogan himself becoming the number one enemy of the mainstream media and politicians throughout the whole world. Let's be honest, it's not just something that is limited to America. Now, before all of this, Joe Rogan had recently joined Spotify for quite a big deal, and that itself was controversial because a lot of the SJW employees crying about how this is terrible and how they're ashamed to be working with Spotify and how they should remove him. Of course, they didn't remove him. Although, what did happen was a little bit of censorship because a lot of the more edgier episodes that were on YouTube were somehow mysteriously not present on Spotify, despite the fact that almost every single episode was now on there and all new future episodes were going to be on there and not on YouTube, which raised a few eyebrows, so to speak. And also, Joe Rogan has been in trouble for saying that he used certain medications that begin with I in order to, combat his recent bout of COVID-19 because he himself got the coof, and he said that this particular medicine helped him enormously. This, of course, once again angered a lot of these people, and that coupled with his interview with Robert Malone did not help him. And now fast forward a couple of weeks, and after intense pressure where Spotify initially were saying, look, we're going to stand by him, it's just a conversation, bro, relax, the left decided to do what they did to PewDiePie to Joe Rogan, and that is to find clips of him out of context, using certain phrases, doing certain things, and trying to paint him as a racist. And the end result was a compilation of him using the N-word, the gamer word, by some woman online who's apparently some musician that I've never heard of. I don't think any of you lot have ever heard of, because that's another thing that is tangential to this, which is a lot of musicians, usually boomer ones, like Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, were going on about how he's a threat, he's a danger, spreading misinformation, and therefore they will cancel themselves and remove their music from Spotify's platform. Well done, boomers, well done. But this was a younger musician who was not happy about all of this, and she posted what was obviously not a video that she made herself of him using the N-word, obviously out of context. Now, apparently the actual context to all of these clips is that he was trying to explain the nature of the word, apparently, in pretty much all these conversations. It was actually a conversation about the use of it, the history of it, what it was all about. He wasn't actually calling people the word. He wasn't just using it willy-nilly like iDubbbz used to do back in the day. He was just talking about it. It was a conversation about social issues. But that didn't stop CNN, Joe Acosta, from making a whole segment on his show about this, with the fat potato, who I can't believe is 35 years old, Brian Stelter, from fanning the flames and trying to further the cause of their own censorship even further, which is obviously knocking out competition for them, propaganda-wise. Whether Joe Rogan knows it or not, he's kind of a propagandist. We all are. Let's not beat around the bush. This is a propaganda war from our side against theirs, and from their side against ours. Which the most hilarious part of this was that they said that this was disturbing content and you've been warned, which they then proceed to show the actual compilation censored. So every time he said the N-word, a bleep would happen. The mainstream media and a lot of leftist activists are sick and tired of him platforming people that are a genuine threat to their narrative. They want him gone, despite the fact that he thinks that he's really more of a neutral party in all this, that he can talk to all these different people. To him, it's just enlightening people, broadening conversation, which is a good thing, but to these people, that is a threat. These people want him gone. They want his podcast gone because, let's be honest, it appeals not only to people like me and you who watch my channel, but it appeals to the normies who don't know any better. It's informing them, but they haven't really been able to find a good enough reason to try and kick him off Spotify, to kick him off YouTube. Just signing the contract alone and having this workers' strike or whatever happened at Spotify, these people moaning about him, that wasn't the right time to go after him. And even on YouTube, he was moving from that platform anyway. It's just a glorified archive channel at this point, the original one. So there's no point going after him there. But during a pandemic, with the man who created mRNA vaccines, who has certain things that he wants to say during a time where state power has increased exponentially because of this crisis, yeah, I think the time is right from their perspective to go after him. And they've gone after him with such vitriol, and this time they've really orchestrated their efforts that, yeah, he can't handle it for whatever reason, even though he should be used to this at this point. But apparently he's not. He must have just forgotten all the attempts to go after him over the years. The real reason is not to protect black people, not to protect vulnerable people from a virus. The real reason is to get rid of a person who has a lot more influence than a lot of their own activists have at influencing normal people, and they're scared of the competition. He doesn't even realise how influential he actually is, it seems to me, but they do. They'll go after anybody who has the power to be more influential than they are at influencing hearts and minds. But now, this has happened, and it's put Joe in a very awkward position, resulting in, unfortunately, an apology. Moreover, Spotify have also chose to delete, I think, about 9 episodes from the Joe Rogan Experience, so you will never be able to listen to them again on Spotify, although I imagine you will be able to find some of the archives on YouTube if Joe hasn't gone over there and deleted them from his channel anyway. But trust me, the internet doesn't forget, and there will be fans who will be posting those clips, those episodes in full, if not on YouTube, then on other platforms for you to peruse and have a look for yourself. So what is my take on all of this? Well, first off, Joe shouldn't have joined Spotify in the first place. I remember people were telling me, people were discussing this, and there was a lot of debate over it. A lot of them were saying, look, this could be the future. Spotify could be moving into video, and they could easily be the new competition to YouTube, and they could have this free speech platform where you could just do and say whatever you wanted. Well, of course, that was not the case, because although people were moaning about R. Kelly being on Spotify and other infamous people like Gary Glitter, for example, the thing is, they did actually delete R. Kelly off of Spotify. They did censor him, despite the fact that his music can be separated from himself. He may be a disgusting individual, but he did make good music, and you can separate the art from the artist. Likewise, Gary Glitter, who is a well-known nonce. Nobody should be stopped from listening to rock and roll, or to any of the music that R. Kelly made, or wrote for other people, like, for example, You Are Not Alone. I think he wrote that for Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, another person who, although I personally think was innocent of all the crimes, and he was found innocent in a court of law, a lot of people are still convinced that he did wrong to these people, yet his music is still up there, and apparently that's an issue, even though you can separate the art from the artist. Unfortunately for Joe, we can't really separate his conversations from him, because a lot of the time he is providing his honest opinion on such matters, but I don't think he should be censored. Unfortunately, he chose to sign the contract with Spotify, and he's now beholden to their rules, and they clearly don't want all of this controversy. So, unfortunately for him, he's had to delete all these episodes, and he's now going to have to watch what he's saying and also decide what kind of guests he's going to bring on, because Spotify probably will not want any controversial guests on there. Or if they are controversial, they're not too controversial that nothing bad is going to happen. But again, in this day and age, you could have some random person on who, by and large, is family friendly, but if they say something slightly off-kilter, then you cancel. It turns out that Spotify was not the free speech haven that people were telling me that it was going to be. It turned out to be, in my opinion, the wrong decision for him. He should have, ironically, stayed on YouTube. He should have gone to other platforms. So, for example, Odyssey or Rumble or Unauthorized, for example, where you could actually pay him to watch his actual content. And he would be largely free from censorship on those platforms and still be able to do stuff on YouTube and Spotify. But no, he signed an exclusive deal. And unfortunately for him, Spotify are paused. Moreover, I don't know what people were thinking about Joe apologising and feel disappointed. He signed that contract. This guy's not really that based. Joe is not that strong. He is still pretty much a leftist in his own way, even though he's not the worst. He's not an extremist by any means. but he is a mainstream personality, and unfortunately he has to apologise because he feels he has to, which means he's feeding into that. He should never have apologised. He should have said, look, we were having conversations about this word, we were discussing social issues, we choose not to censor ourselves when using this word. If you don't like it, suck it up. Well, what can they do? They failed to get an apology out of him if he chooses not to apologise. They can't get him to grovel. I mean, Spotify can remove the episodes if they want, but then Joe can just simply say, well, I argued in the meeting that no, we shouldn't, but the CEO or whoever handles this stuff decided that they were going to go ahead with it. I had nothing to do. It was the wrong move to make. They're now going to smell blood and go after him even more, and will possibly try and find other avenues to attack him and to get other things removed, because ultimately this isn't about removing those episodes, is it? It's not going to stop there. It's going to start with them, and it's going to end with him being removed from the platform entirely. And Spotify, because they're such a corporate lefty organisation, they're not going to last. And I think they're going to yeet him if this is sustained, unless Joe Rogan and Spotify realise their mistake in apologising and removing all that footage and wake up and decide that a principled stance is taken now. Because that's the only way you're going to stop it, by not playing to their rules and telling them to fuck off. All they had to do was make fun of them. Joe Rogan made the decision to join Spotify. He chose to play their game. He allowed Spotify to delete these episodes to save his career, and I think they're going to ask for more, and eventually I think he will be fully cancelled and he'll have no one to blame but himself. I don't need to tell you that. It's going to happen. So until next time, it's been your boy, and I'll see you all later.